Man, it's so dark, y'all can't even really see what's going on here. At least our blinkers work.
Man, that's hard to do in the dark.
I know it.
With a light shining in your eyes, blinding you.
I know it.
Damn medics.
Wait a minute. That's not a Mopar. Something's wrong here. It's even a formal roof. Is it cat approved? I think the cats don't mind it. It is a trophy winner. Got second place in the unrestored class at a local car show. But, yeah, park. Hey, it's already in reverse. Neutral, drive, second, first. You notice how it's first gear is in the second gear spot? Yeah, first things first. You gotta get this thing adjusted correctly because it is not. The cable is way too long, so it puts all the gears way out of sync. All right, down here checking out the transmission, and I can tell right away that that is way maladjusted. It's way too long, so the transmission is currently in neutral, but the shifter is in reverse. So what has to happen is this has to get shortened up a bunch. Basically what's going to happen is these two adjuster nuts that are so very hard to get to, it seems like, are going to end up getting pushed way out towards the end of the thread. So that way I'll have enough room once this thing goes into neutral to where this will just slip right in. Remember how I said it was way too long? Well, it turns out it's way too short actually. So you can see that the shifter's in neutral, the transmission's in neutral, and it is way far off. I need to lengthen it out quite a bit to where it'll fit in this hole. So yeah, we'll have to turn that nut up there quite a bit, and it may be kind of difficult. We'll see what I can make happen. Everything's still in neutral. You can see that this just slips in and out with ease. So now it's to the point where all I have to do is put in the clip and this shifter will be fixed. So I think what happened is they adjusted this shifter while it was all the way forward in park, which on a Ford and this shifter, it just doesn't do that. You know, it's kind of set up to be able to accommodate a Chevrolet, hence why it comes all the way out here. So now, reverse, neutral, drive, second, first. And the cool thing about this Z-gate, because that's what this is the B&M Z-gate, it's a gated shifter, so you just bam, second, bam, third, bam, neutral. Then you pick up on the little tab, reverse, park. It's really not too bad, pretty easy to run this thing. One rough thing about this car though, nasty. So the big question is, what exactly is this thing? So it's a 1969 Ford Fairlane. It was a factory straight six car. Someone along the way did swap a 302 into it. Had a 3 on the tree. It's, as you saw, an automatic now. It's got a C4 in it. Got a little tiny Ford 8-inch in the back, which is A-okay with us. And yeah, so this is not my car. This is my mother's car. You see this? She decided that she wanted a classic, so she was looking around on Marketplace and all that kind of stuff. She spotted a Fairlane, was like, ooh, Fairlane. I'm like, hey, I know where one of these things is at. So we actually bought this thing from my coworker. My dad went and bought this from my mother. So it's pretty cool. My coworker gets to see, of course, through the magic of YouTube, all the stuff that we're going to be doing to this car, just kind of fixing it up. Of course, it's not going to be a mainstay of my channel or anything, but you know what? It'll make for good content in a short time. One part I always found interesting about the 69 model Fords is that, as you can see way over there, there's a little weather strip piece. It's actually on the door glass, not on the quarter glass. So you roll the door down and yeah, it makes it look like there's nothing there. Take that as you will. Some people prefer the 70, which has that little weather strip piece on the quarter glass. Some people prefer the 69. You know, it just depends on what you want. Underneath the hood, we do, of course, have the 302 that currently occupies the space. It's been rebuilt. Apparently has around 30,000 miles on it in its current configuration. So it's unfortunately been painted black. No one likes a black engine. Why do people paint them black? Runs pretty all right. Fires right up. It does have electronic ignition swapped onto it. We're going to be putting it back to points. Has a little tiny Holley 1850 on it, which surprisingly enough actually has a working electric choke with the fast idle cam. So, you know, it's pretty nice. You fire this thing up, busts right off, and sits there on high idle until eventually you just whack the throttle and it goes back to being good. Now, you can tell that whoever put this thing together doesn't have the best wiring skills. So it's gonna be interesting getting it back to how it's supposed to be. So yeah, it's a pretty slick little setup. It is, of course, a manual drum brake car with manual steering, which the brakes on this thing honestly are harder than anything I'm used to, so it's kind of weird. Ooh, fuzzy's coming off. Yeah, you ready to take a ride in your car?
Yes.
All right. Of course it's being difficult. It'd be nice if the tach worked. So this thing's gonna need quite a bit of tuning. It's kind of rough. Kind of rough right now. See what I mean? Yeah, she's gonna need carb tuning. I don't know what to do. It just shifts itself. You can definitely tell there's stuff in the trunk when you hit a bump.
Just like its owner.
Huh?
I said just like its owner. Stuff in the trunk.
I don't know if I'm keeping that in the video.
Come on.
They don't need to know my mother has a big butt. Well, it feels like the vacuum modulator works all right. Because it shifts like it should. There it is. All right. And it doesn't even sound too bad with this full exhaust. Got a little cam in it, that's for certain. So one thing I'm noticing is that this timing cover and water pump setup does not work together. So for the proper 69 timing cover, apparently there's a little piece that comes out and it's, you know, has a little pointer on it for your timing marks. I'm guessing later on they must have swapped the inlet to the water pump to this other side, because this timing cover has the mark way off on the other side where the water inlet to the water pump does not let you view it. So basically we can't time this thing. While I'm here, I am noticing a place where the exhaust is leaking a little bit. Kind of see off in here there's some schmutz. So basically, you know, first off, I'm not a Ford guy. Second off, there's some finagling that's going to have to be done to actually properly set the timing on this thing. So one thing I noticed might be a problem is the fact that there was a vacuum leak in this vacuum advance setup. You see, there's nothing there. So what I did was I went and I just kind of casually gripped around the hose on the vacuum canister and it started pulling a vacuum. Of course, it let off really quickly. So what I'm going to do is take this little zip tie here and just cinch it down tight. So that way it'll create a little bit of pressure. Now you can see it will build up vacuum, but this canister must have a leak in it because it keeps pulling back real quickly. These things are supposed to hold vacuum, not just leak it right out. I'll see if I can't get a little bit tighter fit on that nipple, and we'll see what happens there. I'm not 100% convinced that it's the pod yet, but it's probably the pod. Well, what do you know? I tightened the crap out of that zip tie to the point where the tail actually flew off in my hand. It's still tight though, and now I pull up vacuum and it has good vacuum, which is great. And the vacuum advance does indeed work, because watch this whenever I let off the vacuum. See that? Pull up some vacuum. Bam. It does indeed work. So that means that I can hook this back up to the carburetor. It is set up to manifold vacuum. It's kind of what I was figuring this thing might need with the way that it's running right now and the fact that I can't actually correctly time the thing without doing some finagling. So we'll give this a shot and we'll see what happens. It should run a little better. Well, what does the hot start like? Ooh, let's run a little hotter. Alternator light's flashing though. I wonder if this thing's actually charging. So, working vacuum advance now. I also fixed another vacuum leak. So, let's see what happens whenever I put this thing in gear. Previously, as you saw on the drive, it was dying. So, it's still doing that. Oh well, it'll probably just need some actual timing going on. But I'll go ahead and try to... adjust the idle. I adjusted the idle, set it down off the fast idle cam, and you know, it still sounds cammy, but I have a feeling that I'm going to be chasing vacuum leaks on this thing today. You see, there's a lot of this stuff going on here. Not to mention I had to do that too. It's a bummer that I can't actually properly time this thing though, because I'd like to know what the timing is actually at idle. Because, you know, hooking up that vacuum advance sure didn't bump it up any. All right, idle's been adjusted a little bit, so let's see. It stays running, not too great, but it stays running. Pops back up, goes into gear. Who says that manual steering's hard? This is a one-hander. Manual brakes on this car are a little harder than what I'm used to. But it's also a heavier car, and who knows what the master cylinder is. Maybe it's not even the right size bore. Oh yeah, much better. It's actually drivable now. Not saying it's great, but it's drivable. I've never seen such clean mirrors. It's definitely no hot rod. All right, here's the big question is, does she diesel when you kill it in park? Nope, it's actually pretty good. So this thing sat here idling for quite a long time, and it never even got that hot. You know, it hit like 180, 190, and it stayed there, so I'm pretty impressed with that. On that note though, definitely not something I want to do. And we'll have to go through and check all the fluids and everything, make sure it's good on coolant, antifreeze, because it is getting to the time where it's freezing around these parts. Make sure it's topped up on oil, transmission fluid, all that good stuff. So with that, you got me on what the future of this thing's going to be. Maybe I'll take it around back and wash it for the folks, or at the very least wipe it off with a rag. Because yeah, I don't know what in the world this is, but it's kind of ugly. It needs to get wiped off. All it's going to take is a wipe. So I've been going through, kind of putting some caps on some of the places I thought might be vacuum leaks, some proper caps. And once I was done doing that, I decided to come through and do some good old-fashioned zip tie spark plug wire separators, mainly to keep these plug wires off of anything metal, because there was a couple of them that were touching the fender wells. There's a couple of them that were touching, you know, like the T-handles here, which don't hate the T-handles. We didn't put them on first off, and second off, honestly, I'm kind of growing on them. They're growing on me quite a bit. Oh, I'm popular. So, yeah, I've got a couple more spots, and I'm going to do that too, just to tidy things up a little more. Clip all the tails off, of course, and she'll be that much easier to work on, because you'll actually know where all the plug wires go. So one of the big old vacuum ports on that carburetor over there had this on it. Yeah, that's, I don't think this is okay. Taping it up to try to fix that is not the best thing to do. So that was a huge vacuum leak. This thing ought to run much better now. Brave doing this with the air cleaner on. Let's see, it's in park. Not even gonna touch the throttle because I did pump it while I was out there. Ooh, fired right up. Sounding good. Let's see what happens. Sounds much better than it did before. Cool. All right, that went so well. Let's do a proper road test. Feels like it's running down the road a little smoother though. We're about to hit a bump and the exhaust is gonna clank because it's missing a bracket. Yep, there it was. This thing's gonna need an alignment though. The steering wheel's a little cockeyed and it definitely kind of floats around. I'll have to talk to my guy about that soon. I got 2 cars that need alignment. What do y'all think of that cockeyed angle? Here comes traffic. I instinctively want to shift this thing. I guess it's just an artifact of driving around in my Scamp so much. Kickdown doesn't work. But there's also no kickdown cable on it, so that's to be expected. But what do you know? It's right at about 550 to 600. It definitely needs to come up a little. With this much of a cam sound, it definitely needs to go up. Let's see if I can He-Man it over here. If I can even reach it. Oh yeah, there we go. A little better. Still needs to go up a bit. All right, 650 to 700 sounds about right. Definitely sounds happier. Better. I swear, these manual brakes are way harder than what I'm used to. And I mean, I daily drive stuff with manual brakes. They probably just need to be freshened up. I forgot to put this back. That obviously needs to be back on the steering wheel. Maybe the horn even works. Maybe not. Otherwise it'd be honking right now. Check out that shifter action. These aren't bad. It's a gated shifter, so you can't go any further than where you mean to. So apparently the speedometer itself is broken because the mileage is turning, but the speedo itself is not. I almost bought one of these years ago for my satellite, but I ended up wanting the ratchet shifter instead. Dog, why are you still in the way? But does she diesel when she's warm? And that temperature says about 195. Hell, it just died. Just as it Apparently this thing got forced on in the straight position instead of how it's supposed to be, where you put it on and then turn it to lock. Oh well. You having fun driving your car?
Well, I will if you let me go.
All right, enjoy. You know, Kat, you and this car got something in common. You're the exact same color. Kind of makes you hard to see in there. I had to take a double take. So my father's been working on the car a little bit. He did get the exhaust all hung up in there because, you know, it was just flopping around, and every time you'd hit a bump, it hit the leaf spring. So that's going to make it a little bit nicer to drive. Still don't have the thing registered in our name or anything, so it's not exactly legal to drive around. It is insured though. There's a bunch of trim. There's even some headliner that's in this car with all the bows inside of this, you know, headliner there. So this car can be made to look pretty nice, but right now what he's focusing on is trying to make this brake light work, because this particular brake light does not work, nor does the turn signal. Tail lights work on both sides, just not the brake side on this one. Now, while I've been off doing scamp stuff, the old man's been fixing up this here heater box for that car. As you can see, it's pretty well cracked up. And what'd you find in there?
All that bullshit.
Plenty of rat's nest came out of that thing.
Yeah, it was completely plugged.
Yep. So he's dedicated to everything he has having a heater, especially since that's my mother's car. He likes to make fun of me for pulling the heater box out of my satellite.
You gotta have a defroster when it's foggy.
Yeah.
If you're gonna stay out all night at car cruises, you can get kind of visibility impaired. Just my experience.
Yeah, he even swapped out the heater box in this thing so that way he could have the you know, non-AC heater box, but he made sure to have a defroster.
Save 10 pounds. 10 pounds over the AC.
As you can see, he's got everything out of this except for the gauge cluster, so it's pretty legit. One thing I can say about my father is he is not afraid to tear into stuff to get things fixed up, and he always does a good job. He's not a hacky mechanic. He actually makes things nice. So that's all we got on this car for now. Sorry to leave y'all on a bit of a cliffhanger with that whole heater, core, box, everything going on. Apparently, the heater box is fixed. It's all fiberglassed in, just hadn't gotten around to putting it back in the car. And, well, today is Thursday. I work Friday, Saturday, and this video comes out Sunday. So, yeah, that's what this timeline looks like. So, anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that. Hope you got quite the good look at this car. If you enjoyed it, you know, and you stuck around this long at least, don't forget, I'm trying to make it big on this. I need support, so do all the stuff that I hate to ask you to do. But do the things for the stuff, because it really helps out. And you can subscribe for more cats in the future. Isn't that right? And then maybe you'll even stay for the cars.